they think like every life matters, no matter how many cells it has. And they're, very passionate about that. Should that moral be examined?
I would say yes.
Okay. But if they have the belief that abortion should be legalized everywhere, that moral shouldn't be examined?
I feel like it sounds really bad if I say no, but like it makes sense to me.
Okay. Hmm. Do you think, as a whole, do you think we should be more closed-minded or more open-minded?
Open-minded
Do you think you're open-minded?
for the most part.
On this belief, do you think you are open-minded?
No,
No. Do you think you should be open-minded?
no.
All right. So I'm Pierce.
I'm Jenna.
Genna. Jenna.
Genna.
G?
Yes.
Oh,
My actual name is Genesis.
Oh, nice. Sorry about
I've
this.
never heard that name. Very nice.
Yeah.
Hey, and I like to ask this for everybody who walks by. What brought you to come and have a chat?
Just intriguing.
Intriguing.
Yeah. Wanted to see what it was about.
Have you ever heard of street epistemology?
No.
Okay. So it's a conversational method where we just chat about something you believe is true. And we just talk about whether we think that, why you think that's, what gets you to think that's true. And, we examine those reasons to see where you're at.
All right.
Let me make sure this is charging. It is. Okay, cool. I want the camera to shut off. So when you first walked up here, you were kind of like, well, I don't know what we
Yeah.
can talk about, right? Okay. Is there anything you can think of that you think is true that you'd be comfortable talking? Okay. I can throw out a whole bunch of
Yeah.
examples.
Throw out examples.
Okay. So Veronica just had a conversation with, what was her name? I don't even remember.
Sam.
Sam, that's right. And they talked about her belief in Catholicism. Prior to that, I had a chat and we talked about karma. It doesn't have to be something that's religious or spiritual by any means. Several months ago, I talked to someone about global warming. I'm okay with talking about LGBTQ issues, anything with regards to that. It can really be anything that you think is true.
Have a good one. I think that abortion should be legalized
Okay.
everywhere.
Abortion should be legalized everywhere. Okay. Awesome. That is what you believe is true. And how confident are you that is true, that abortion should be legalized everywhere?
Very.
Very. Okay. What does very mean? Like, is there anything that could change your mind?
No.
Okay. So would you be comfortable saying that you're 100%
Yes.
convinced? Okay. 100% convinced, nothing could change your mind. Okay. And why is this the case? Why are you at 100%?
For the people that wouldn't be able to take care of a child and are in a sticky situation or don't have the means to buy protection and stuff like that. Like some people can't afford that,
Okay.
but humans are they're sexual beings, so obviously it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then obviously the 1% case scenarios like rape, incest, all that.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. So what I'm hearing is people should be able to get abortions because people want to have sexual intercourse, assuming you meant. And they might get pregnant because of that. That's obviously a thing that happens. And if they do get pregnant, they're they might not be able to care for a child if abortion is made illegal, or right. So they should be able to get an abortion so that the child isn't not cared for. Is that kind of what
Yes.
you were saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to go through the system.
Okay.
And doesn't have to grow up in a impoverished home.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And you said nothing could change your mind on that. Is there anything that you could learn that might change your outlook? Nothing.
No, I've seen the videos about it.
Okay. Gotcha. If there was like something, and this is largely hypothetical, if there was a place in the world where children wouldn't have to, parents wouldn't have, potential parents wouldn't have to worry about a potential child being taken care of, if they could go somewhere and be taken very, very well care of, everything met, fantastic life, fantastic upbringing, right? How would you feel about that particular place in the world for abortion?
I would still believe that abortion should be legal because
Okay.
that is still you putting your body through something very traumatic. And some people don't want to do that or can't live through that
Okay.
or have medical conditions where they can't do that easily.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So it seems like these are two different reasons. So it sounds like one reason is, for the child, potential
Yep.
child. And the other reason is kind of about bodily autonomy.
Yes.
Okay. Which reason is more, I guess, gets you to that 100%? Is it more about the child or more about the bodily autonomy?
Bodily autonomy.
Bodily autonomy. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. I guess, why is that the case? Why should people have this bodily autonomy to be able to have an abortion?
Because if you are the one that is giving the cells the right to grow in your body, and if you don't want to have something grow in your body, like you shouldn't make it or like let it.
So it's kind of like you're the land owner and you kind of take in a tenant kind of. Okay, and you have the right to kind of evict said tenant?
Yes.
Sure. If someone were to stop by and they heard us talking about this and they wanted to join and they were like 100% that abortion should be legal everywhere, what do you think would be their best argument that they would say?
Their best argument,
Yeah.
I think that their best argument would be, well, that's killing a child.
Okay.
Or that could be the next, like that person could cure cancer or like just blown out of the water.
Okay. And I guess why is that? I'm assuming, don't let me put words in your mouth, but I would assume you don't think that it's a very good reason to believe that abortion should be illegal.
I understand it to a point,
Okay.
but like even with that, like you still shouldn't, like it still goes against, like you should not make somebody carry a child if they don't want to or put their body through that.
I guess why, okay, so the reason why that reason isn't a very good reason for you is because bodily autonomy is more important than the life of the fetus. Is that a good word to use, I think?
No, I don't remember. It's like a clump of cells. I don't remember.
Okay.
A fetus is way down the line.
Gotcha.
So,
Fair enough. Let me reword it then, because I want to use the most appropriate words. So you would say that the right to bodily autonomy has a greater importance than can we say the life of the clump of cells? Is that appropriate? Okay. Than the life of the clump of cells?
yes,
Okay. And why is that the case?
because like they hold on, let me think. I am like a living human being. I'm out, like I'm, here, and a clump of cells can't do anything. So obviously, like a whole being that is already here is more important than like something that hasn't even been born yet.
If it, instead of a clump of cells, I'm assuming this is very early on in a pregnancy. I don't know a lot about it. Um, if it was like later in the pregnancy where it was more than a clump of cells, let's say what a pregnancy is 9 months, let's say it was, in the eighth month or something. Would that change anything for you?
Um, no, in some cases, because some people don't know that they're pregnant until they literally give birth, and or they're way far along.
Yeah.
So if it was one of those cases, I could see, but I mean, otherwise, like catch it early, like
Yeah.
that. It's like your responsibility to catch it early.
Okay. Your responsibility. So let's say this individual is 8 months pregnant and they want to, or should it be legal for them to have an abortion at that point?
In specific cases.
In specific cases, so like maybe like if the child, I don't want to say child, let's say fetus, is that more appropriate? Let's say they're not doing well inside. Um, would that be a reason, or what would be the circumstances?
If it could not live um, a good life out of the womb, then yes.
If the parents couldn't like financially or mentally support the child, raise the child, would that be a good reason?
No. That at that point that would go to
What
the system.
what would be a good reason?
Um, like if you didn't know that you were
Didn't
pregnant,
know you were
because
pregnant.
you can spot throughout pregnancy.
So the bodily autonomy becomes more important if you don't know.
Yes. Because you weren't given the option to, or the opportunity to make that choice earlier if you did not know.
I'm wondering if should it be the responsibility of a person to kind of figure that out before it gets to that point?
Yes.
Okay. But they should, but if they don't figure it out, if they're pregnant,
Yeah.
then they should have the ability, the legal right to have an abortion. If they
If
don't,
if you like legitimately did not know, like still got your period throughout your pregnancy, like that, then I could understand it a little bit, but it's still not like fully.
so if it was like really obvious, but they said that they didn't know, then that probably wouldn't be
Yeah.
one fly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what if it was really obvious, but they weren't quite mentally capable of understanding it? Would that be a good reason? Or if they were just kind of being a silly goose or something?
like they weren't like mentally there,
Well,
or
I guess
like
let's just.
they don't pay attention.
Yeah, they're not really paying attention. I mean, other people kind of are like, "Oh, that person looks like they're pregnant. Wonder if they are." But they were like, "Ah, no way, that's impossible."
Then I don't think it should be.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Um, I want to go back to, so you're 100% confident abortion should be legalized everywhere, and it
Mhm.
sounds like it's up to a certain point. Looks like there's some sort of restrictions to some degree, what
Mhm.
you've told me. Um, should we be confident, 100% confident, and nothing else can change our mind about any particular belief?
Wait, what was your question? Sorry.
Should we be 100% confident in any given belief?
Yes.
Should we be open to changing our mind?
Um, yes, unless it has to do with your morals.
So morals can't be examined, or
I would say like if it's something that like you're sure on because it's something that is important to you and helps you, then you should be 100% on it, like bodily autonomy. But if it's just like an opinion about something, then like that should be able to be changed.
If someone had a moral belief about, um, let's say it's about abortion. They think like every life matters, no matter how many cells it has, um, and they're very passionate about that. Should that moral be examined?
I would say yes.
Okay. But if they have the belief that abortion should be legalized everywhere, that moral shouldn't be examined?
I feel like it sounds really bad if I say no, but like it makes sense to me.
Okay. Hmm. Do you think, as a whole, do you think we should be more closed-minded or more open-minded?
Open-minded
Do you think you're open-minded?
for the most part.
On this belief, do you think you are open-minded?
No,
No. Do you think you should be open-minded?
no.
All right. I guess why is that the case? Why should you be closed-minded?
Not like I will hear other people's opinions, but I know I will not change my mind for the fact that if it ever happens to me or anyone that I know, like, and it's like I believe that it's the person who is pregnant's right to choose.
Um, I don't know where to go from here. Do you have any questions that you think I should ask?
Um, not not specifically. No. Yeah, I don't want to.
Okay. I think I'll end with one thing that I like to do sometimes. Um, so imagine that there's an alien. His name's Alan.
Okay.
Nice guy. That guy. And he lands a spaceship over there in the ground. He's never been to Earth before. Doesn't really have any beliefs. He comes from a totally different world. And he comes up. He's like, "What are you guys talking about?" And we're like, "Abortion, and whether it should be legalized, Alan." And then he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." Walks off. And Alan is thinking, and he's like, "I want to know if abortion should be illegal everywhere or legal everywhere." What is the best way for Alan to figure that out?
Researching.
Researching?
Yeah, researching like um the positive and negative effects of it, the positive and negative effects of the foster care system, stuff like that.
Okay. So take in some evidence of that. Okay. And is that the method that you have used?
Yes.
Perfect. And do you think that it's possible for him to come to a different conclusion than you have if he takes in that evidence?
Yes.
It is possible for him to come. So he could think that abortion should be illegal everywhere?
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. I guess why, if we take in all that evidence and we're coming to different conclusions, I guess, does that mean the evidence, what does that say about the evidence? Is it reliable?
I mean, it could be also like a bias because obviously they don't really care, not necessarily care, but like it doesn't affect them. So they could have a different opinion about it.
Okay. When it comes to abortion, is it just, and being legalized, is it just an opinion?
What do you mean?
Um, is this abortion should be legalized everywhere? Is that like a fact, or is it an opinion? Is it a
It's an opinion.
it's an opinion? Gotcha. So somebody else can come to a different opinion
Yes.
on that matter. Okay, so Alan could come to a different. Okay. Is there opinions that are more correct than others?
I would say no because they're all opinions. They're not like factual.
Okay. Yeah, I think I almost should leave it there. I'm tempted to talk more about the opinions. Should we be always, stand 100% firm, unwilling to change our opinions?
No.
But in this case, for
Okay.
you,
Yes.
you should.
I should.
I think we'll leave it there. I'll let you have the talking stick metaphorically. And if there's any questions you have for me, or
Do you guys go to like college campuses? Is that like your main place?
for me, I really like college campuses because students are so willing to talk about what they believe is true,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more of like an exercise of critical thinking. So I think it's a great place. Veronica's gone to many different places, parks, Lambeau Field,
Oh, that's fun.
so a bunch of other places. But I particularly do like college campuses.
Oh, that's nice.
Anything else you got for me?
Where do you guys like put it? Like, is it
Okay.
like YouTube?
Yep. Assuming all the equipment didn't fail, that's where you can find it.
All right.
You can have a keychain too.
Oh, thank you. That's cute. I will put that on my keys.
If I give you a children's book, do you have any children that in your life that you'd be able to give it to?
Yes.
Get you one.
I'll give to you. We'll give away all these. Oops, we gave it. Here is one of each.
Yep.
Thank you.
Written by
Well done.
me.
Oh,
But feel free
cute.
to read them, keep them, or give them to that child. All right. If you don't got anything for me, I think that's all I got.
Right. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
You're welcome. Thanks for stopping
Of
by and
course.
having the chat.